Okay, well, let's take a look at what the French newspapers are saying about the election. I'm joined once again by Florence Filmonneau.
Good morning.
Flo, what's they saying?
Well, we're going to start by looking at Le Figaro, the right-leaning newspaper that has an exclusive interview with President Nicolas Sarkozy just a couple days before the election. And there you see him. He doesn't hesitate to take a jab at François Hollande. Hollande will be taken hostage by Mélenchon and Joly, so Jean-Luc Mélenchon from the far left and Eva Joly from the Green Party. Now, they have an extensive interview with Sarkozy inside, where he warns that basically Hollande won't be able to follow his program because he's going to have to listen to Jean-Luc Mélenchon and Eva Joly, so he's going to be a slave to them somewhat. Now, inside the interview, he says that he's determined and ready to fight, and he says that he can't wait for round two because that's finally when it's going to be a battle of ideas between him and Hollande, a battle of programs. And once again, he warns that if Hollande is elected president, it's going to be a catastrophe for France's economy. There's going to be a lot of debt and deficit. And he says that la France n'a pas le droit à l'erreur. France cannot afford to make a mistake.
Well, that's something that Sarkozy says a lot, that Hollande will damage France's already fragile economy. What's the left-leaning Libération got to say about it?
Well, Libération wonders, is the left really something that markets are afraid of? La gauche fait-elle peur au marché? And according to Libération, no, actually. In their editorial, they say that the right is actually playing on people's fears. And though Hollande, for instance, once upon a time said that he hated rich people and said that the world of finance was, he was going to wage war on the world of finance. According to Libération, the world of finance and markets are actually largely anticipating the fact that Hollande is going to win the presidential election and that the socialists are going to win the legislative election coming up. And according to Libération, it reminds us that it's under Sarkozy that France lost its AAA rating, and it's under Sarkozy that he's leaving a country that's in debt and with a huge deficit. Now, according to the left-leaning newspaper, what could be a big mystery for the markets is Mélenchon, because he too has declared war on the financial markets and bankers, but he's somewhat more of a loose cannon than Hollande, and he doesn't hesitate. He's the first to say that I am dangerous. He says this in his political meetings, whereas François Hollande, when he was in London, he told people, I'm not dangerous. So you have these two candidates, and it's unclear for now just how much power Mélenchon could have if Hollande is elected.
And it's definitely not often you hear a presidential candidate admit that they're dangerous.
Yes.
We'll see if that tactic works. But polls, Flo, and they're on the cover of Le Parisien.
Yes, Le Parisien, our last poll before round one. And there you see François Hollande ahead with 30%, Nicolas Sarkozy with 26.5%, Marine Le Pen and Jean-Luc Mélenchon neck and neck for third place with 14% of the vote. And inside, according to this latest BVA poll, Hollande would beat Sarkozy in the second round with the widest margin so far. It would be 57% versus 43%. And according to this poll, voter turnout wouldn't be all that big. There could be an abstention rate of between 20 and 24%. But there's an interesting article in Le Parisien which actually made me laugh because it wonders how trustworthy are these polls that actually they have on their front cover. According to this article, candidates can have surprising results and the polls themselves can make mistakes. And this has to do with the fact that there are still a lot of undecided voters and they could really change the final result. There's another interesting poll that's on the cover of 20 Minutes. It's a CSA poll that says that only 63% of voters say they're actually interested in the election, and only 62% say they're certain of who they will vote for. So this could actually change a lot in the results. And so there is still a lot of unknowns in the first round, and the Christian newspaper La Croix has this on their front page, Les Inconnus du Premier Tour. So just how many people are going to turn out to vote? What is the final ranking of the candidates going to be? This is what they're wondering. And Les Echos, the business paper, on their front page, they say that perhaps the low turnout could be due to the fact that a lot of people don't know who they're going to vote for, could be due to some sort of a lack of enthusiasm, due to the fact that the campaign didn't actually focus on what people were actually interested in. So Les Echos addresses these key issues, which are jobs, France's competitiveness, the housing crisis, and education. So the business paper looks at what people were actually interested in this campaign, that according to the paper, the candidates themselves didn't really address.
Yeah, and instead, of course, it's all been about finance and markets and the economy.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much for that update. Florence Filmonneau there talking to us for our press review.